VW Golf R. Seriously, did any of you guys actually think this was going to be the car I chose to replace my Tesla Model Y Performance? If you did, let me know down below. But I think this caught a lot of you guys off guard. Now, it's funny, a few of you guys did actually DM me your guesses, and the number one guess was the Fiat Abarth 500. Now, I don't really know too much about that car, but I'm not sure that myself, my wife, my son, and my two dogs would fit into that comfortably, so I never really took a car like that too seriously. It's just too small. So why the Golf R? Honestly, this car was not even on my radar when I started my search for the new daily driver. I had narrowed it down to either a Focus RS, Civic Type R, Veloster N, or the new Corolla GR. I was talking to a friend and he suggested that I also put the Golf R on the list, so I did. Now, out of all of these options, the Type R is probably the best car, but I feel like it's a little too big for the narrow streets of Italy. The Veloster N DCT is sorta cool, but I think I would grow a little bit tired of the three-door configuration, and I don't really love the styling, but I think it's sort of a cool car. Now, the Corolla GR sort of checks all my boxes, but from what I understand, driving in the streets of Italy can almost be like driving in a bumper car track or something, right? You kind of expect to get hit a little bit, and with the GR Corolla being so new, it's still pretty expensive, and I didn't want to be paranoid about like accidentally hitting somebody or somebody hitting me, and then there's like an issue. You know, like the Golf R I got is nice, but I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it if someone like dings me a little bit as opposed to like a brand new car. Now, the Focus RS, this was initially my first choice. Now, values are still high on these cars. Even with some miles on them, these cars are still pretty expensive. Plus, I was looking at my buddy's car, and the biggest complaint he had about it was with the all-wheel drive system, the way it's set up, I guess, the turning radius is really bad. And I didn't want to get in that car and have to like make a 1,000-point turn, you know, everywhere I went, because I'm pretty sure that in Italy, it's going to be like real tight, real sharp turns and everything. So that sort of turned me off. Then came the Golf R. Now, I did a ton of research on this because I am not familiar with the VW platform at all. Some things initially jumped out at me, right? I didn't know how strong the aftermarket was for these cars. I mean, if I want to build a 600 or 700 horsepower drag car, I can. If I want to build a crazy time attack build, I can. The aftermarket support on these cars is really big. Another thing I learned about the Golf R was that out of all the Golf variants, the R is the only one that's actually made in Germany, which is really cool to know that your car was actually there with the Germans who engineered it, basically. And also, I think because of that unique fact, you know, the R is going to hold its value much better than, say, like the GTI or something, in my opinion. Speaking of the Germans, German engineering is strong with this car. I'm really impressed. Take the steering rack, for example. It's got a variable progressive steering rack that effectively changes the steering effort and also changes the lock-to-lock ratio of the car. I mean, people that are driving these cars, they're like so impressed on how maneuverable the car is. But really, what sold me on the car, besides it being pretty cheap, is that when I went to go look at it, I had pretty low expectations, honestly, because this car's, you know, it's got some miles on it. This is a 2016 and it has over 80,000 miles on it. But let me tell you right now, as soon as I open the door, this thing just feels solid. It feels brand new. I sit into the interior, all the touch points on the car are still like perfect. Everything like still clicks and everything still works. It doesn't even look like the car's ever even been driven. I have no idea. It's really cool how nice it is even after 80,000 miles. It doesn't hurt that it's fast either. It's like 300 horsepower, 300 foot-pounds of torque. You know, it sounds decent enough. The all-wheel drive system does some fancy torque splitting stuff, which is cool. The transmission feels good enough. It's not like Honda S2000 or GT350R transmission good, but it's good enough. And I think it's going to be a great enthusiast daily driver. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. You know, I haven't even burned through a full tank of gas, okay, but I really am enjoying it. Now, of course, I have plans for the car, you know, but first there are some things that need to be addressed. I need to make sure that all the maintenance is up to date because I don't have all the records, but this was a one-owner car, so I think that it's been in pretty good shape. But yeah, overall, the car is clean. I'm excited about it, and I think that it is ready for its new life with the All-American Driver. Yes, we will be modifying it and tracking it, don't worry. I'm actually really excited to get this thing on track and see the characteristics, see how it handles, because it's a pretty good car. So that's it here. This is just a quick reveal video, an introduction, introducing you guys to the Golf R, and that's it. Jason Andrews, aka the All-American Driver. I will see you guys in the next episode.